Well, good morning, everybody. It's Sergeant Friday with your Ass Hurts News Network. It's 10:04 a.m. on the East Coast, and I figured I would jump up here with a little stream, see if we can't go for a while. We actually get official confirmation of a plea deal in the Idaho 4 case, which is the state of Idaho versus Brian Christopher Koberger and the murders of 4 young college students on November 13th, 2022. Case has been ongoing, it's been controversial, and has caused massive uprising and arguments back and forth. It's been pretty awesome. But as I've said, it's been my policy in looking at the case to accept official information only, whether you want to think it's truth or dare or truth or false, it doesn't matter. Official documentation from the court and from the prosecution and from the defense are what we've always tried to focus on. For a person that was in my comments recently telling me that I theorize, blah, 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 I have no business talking about other streamers. Well, I do theorize, but I theorize within the confines of the court case, not within the Banfield or the Grub truck or some other bullshit fucking reflection off the moon or whatever it might be. And I'm very open when I say I theorize, but my theory does stay with the people that are involved in this case and no others. I don't talk about the boyfriends, the girlfriends, the this, the that. So same thing with the plea deal. I'm not going to theorize about whether there's a plea deal or not until there is a plea deal. And if in fact that this is a leak from the prosecution again, if this is just another leak from the prosecution again, or just fake news, it's another nail in the coffin for a state that's aired all of their bullshit to the public to sway public opinion. And I just want people to know that I'm curious to see if there is a plea deal. It's 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Idaho is behind us a few hours, a couple 3 hours maybe, and yeah. So that's very good info there. Truth and Justice. There's a link at the top of the page. If people want to come in and join the panel. You find the panel can be very enjoyable, or it could make your ass hurt. I can't promise you either one. There's really not too much to be lost about. It's standard. It shouldn't be a surprise if the defendant asks what kind of plea deal I can get, nor should it be a surprise if the prosecution says we'll offer him this plea deal. And there's been an argument. The most focus lately has been about the death penalty. And so during this phase, it's very, very common for both sides or one side or the other to consider a plea deal. Sometimes the state will reject it hat in hand and say no plea deal, which comes down to prosecutorial discretion. So, hey, girl next door. Hey there, Sassy Cassie. And we got Tomboy Charm. So happy you're all joined in. It's 29 of you in here already. We're competing with Lana, the old Truth, Dead Transparency. And yeah, she's got quite the following, 61,000, I think, viewers. Congratulations to her. We've had Harsh come up here. We've had a bunch of people. I figured I would try to be Steady Eddie, even though my name is Sergeant Friday. You can call me Steady Eddie for today. Listen, it wouldn't be unusual for defense counsel to do that, nor would it be unusual at this stage of the proceedings when they're talking about, if he's guilty, the sentencing that's going to be proposed and fighting to get the death penalty off the case, right? So we've been in this mode here for a while. TMZ and a bunch of other media outlets, the parents, we're led to believe that the Kobergers themselves came forward. And in that, they say he agrees with some of it, but not all of it, from my understanding of what we had on here last night. And again, that's why I put up here plea deal watch. Idaho 4, Brian Koberger, hashtag plea deal. Does one exist? Is there a plea deal? Yeah, I don't care about Zana's aunt. I don't care about Steve and all of these other third-party people. The only place that matters is what comes out of the court. That's where the official. If a plea deal is, if there's going to be a hearing scheduled for a plea arraignment for a plea arrangement, that's fine. No, that's the same could be said of all of these cases, the Karen Reed case and all of that other stuff, and look how Karen Reed turned out. So I think, folks, that a good defense attorney and a good prosecutor will focus on the simple stupid and make sure that the jury receives this critical information in the most simple terms that even a stupid person could understand. And that's what you focus on when you're prosecuting or defending somebody. We don't have details, Heidi. That's why I put up on the stream plea deal watch. We don't know that there's a plea deal. We don't know any of the details as to who offered, who requested, accepted, unaccepted. We have no idea. This could just be a media frenzy over nothing. There may not be any plea deal, or there may have been one offered, and Brian's acceptance or denial of it shouldn't be put forward before the deal is accepted. And this to me, regardless of the standing of a plea deal, okay, regardless of that, I highly suspect that it shouldn't have been leaked to the media that quickly. How the media got their hands on that is just terrible. And again, we don't know, and I hope people in this stream are keeping an eye on the website there, the Idaho portal, or someone will jump in here and say, oh, look, he pled guilty. One of the guilters might jump up here, and who knows what's going to happen. But I didn't think it would hurt to have a plea deal watch, like we're watching to see who the next pope is going to be. SG went to Brian Eaton, which wouldn't surprise me. Somebody earlier in the stream said SG is now asking the same questions. Live stream here. I'm going to go back. I'm going to highlight it. I'm annoyed now. Steve G. Can you elaborate on that more, Sarah? I'm scrolling back to the bottom. So she's annoyed that Steve is now asking all the questions that we have been asking. And I'm not sure exactly what that means or when he started asking these questions, Sarah Q. I used to eat Suzy Q's. Those things used to rock. Man, you could gain some pounds with some Suzy Q's. Ro, good morning, says Sassy. She's got kind of a sassy look going on about her. Ro was just some letter R. No reason to click on that. What do we got up here? The girl next door. And she's a snake. Watch her. Keep an eye on that one. Pull up Steve G's latest release statement. Well, I don't know how I'm going to do that. If you got it, I'm a natural born sassahole, Sarge. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. What the hell? I don't know where his latest release statement was posted, what network or what print, what website. I don't know. But I don't have you on Discord. I do have Discord open. If you guys here, I will give you a Discord link. Bear with me. Don't switch. Bear with me. And Bear Grylls. Create invite. There we go. Copy. And this would be to my Discord. There you go. That's my Discord. You're welcome to go in there and drop it. Jules showed what yesterday, Ro? What did Jules show that we're being told nobody else can find? What did Jules show, Ro? She showed documentation of a plea deal yesterday. I wouldn't doubt it. If it's out there, she could find it. I'm surprised Lana hasn't found it. Is that what you're saying? Jules showed it yesterday? So Cassie joined. Wave high. Look at that. Callie Cat just snuck into the server. Wow. Everybody join up. Come and talk shit to me directly if you like. I don't mind. I do not mind. Ro, can you elaborate on that statement? I'm not so sure I understand what you're saying because you're not making a clear statement about anything other than Jules showed it yesterday. Did she show her tits? What did she show? Come on, Ro. Bring it. Well, good for Steve. He's always had that position in the beginning, but then he turned into a sycophant for the state. All right, here we go. New statement from the Goncalves family. The death penalty is merely an illusion in the criminal justice system. When available, it serves as a bargaining tool for the state, and when rarely applied, it's never enforced due to a highly inefficient appellate process. The notion that someone could plead guilty to a crime and still face years of appellate delays reveals a systemic failure. The Lataw's prosecutor office treatment of our family during this process is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. We questioned decisions early in the investigation. Why was the mayor commenting on the case? Why was the coroner speaking to families? Why was an officer with less than 2 years experience leading the investigation? Why was the University of Idaho involved when they declared it an isolated off-campus incident? Why was the university permitted to write a book about the incident while others were silenced under oath of overly broad order? As a result, we were branded adversaries. So it was no shock how the prosecutor's office mishandled the plea deal. They vaguely mentioned a possible plea on Friday, without seeking our input, and presented the plea on Sunday. Latah should be ashamed of its prosecutor's office. 4 young people were lost their lives, yet the victims' families were treated as opponents from the outset. We weren't even called about the plea. We received an email with a letter attached. That's how the prosecutor's office treats murder victims. Adding insult to injury, they're rushing the plea, giving families just 1 day to coordinate and appear at the courthouse for a plea on July 2nd. Who do they think they are? After more than 2 years, this is how it concludes, with a secret deal and a hurried effort to close the case, without any input from the victims' families. Our family is frustrated right now, and whatever. I mean, you play by the fucking sword, you get killed by the sword. You play by the pen, you die by the pen. I mean, he was okay with everything being secret. And he was only allowed to leak parts of it into which he interpreted, in every instance, wrong information. Every single time that man presented data to the public, it was wrong. Every single piece of data he presented to the public convicted Brian Koberger, and it was wrong. And that's why this is a plea deal watch. Okay? I am not so sure that there's a plea deal. And based on his complaints and his observations of how the deal was issued, I don't think the plea deal was anything more than a standard concession that's being offered to avoid trial. Hi, Margaret. People donated $298. Sarge matched it for a total of $600, but I didn't hear if it's on. Who's asking the question? He still is. If you can help him, he's still looking for help. I don't have his links, and I should be the one that does, but in all fairness, somebody should have that damn thing. Yeah, and I don't think, and this is what I mean, folks, and all of the time I've been out here, for those of you that have followed along with me, and I'm a big stickler on following the facts within the case. And you could surmise and interpret the facts differently than me. You could think he's guilty and suggest the facts show that. I have no issue with that. But I do not and try not to theorize or go about bringing the broader community into it, as you've seen so many of these streamers do. If I've theorized about anything, it's about the 2 young women that weren't attacked and survived. It's about the car. It's about exactly everything used as an accusation against the accused. And any theorization that I've made, for instance, when I suggested the other night that the love of each of the 2 victims that were horribly taken down, the loves of their lives were taken out relatively quickly and easy. And that suggested to me something more than somebody going into the room. It suggested to me that as isolated murder scenes, that just doesn't make sense. that in each room there was one victim taken out quickly, and the other two put up a fight and were horribly taken out. That suggests to me that it's potentially possible that the ones taken out quickly were being held at threat to be killed, and when the blow was actually delivered, the other person in the room responded by fighting. That's what that says to me. Does that mean that's what happened? As I always say, no, it doesn't mean a fucking thing. It just seems strange that you had two fucking victims identical. Let's see here. We have Alicia J. Thanks for joining the Discord. Hi to everybody that's joined. Feel free to join or not join. I don't know why you keep saying you're invisible. I unblocked that name. I literally unblocked that name. I don't know how I unblocked that name. Send me the name again. Send the name you say is blocked. And to be very honest with you, nobody watches me on Discord. Or not Discord, I'm sorry. On Rumble, I've got 4 people in there. And I hope that there's people in the audience, one of you or more. Yeah, I unblocked that name, just Teresa. I totally unblocked that name. So I want to let you know, I have to go back there and look. And yeah, that Discord comes up and blocks my screen every time someone messages me. And I hope there may be, what do you call it? One of you or more of you looking into the Idaho portal and seeing if there's any release. Also, I forget how to get into that again. YouTube. How the hell do I get into that? I don't know if I go into the creator's studio or I'm not so sure I remember it all. Thank you, girl next door. Yeah, if someone told me, I gotta figure it out again. That's the problem. Of unblocking somebody. The list isn't alphabetical. Additionally, getting to the list to know. Look at that. I don't know how he was able to. This case made perfect sense the whole entire time. The delusion in your chat panel and comments is wild. There you go. It's easy to say in the end, isn't it? I give that one a thumbs down. It's easy to say. If your kid was accused of a crime and they couldn't put an identifying feature to the vehicle they claim is your kid's, and your kid happens to drive that model car, you'd be okay with that accusation? I don't think any sane fucking person would. I don't think any sane person would. Jeremy Walls, 8923. So he got a thumb down. Let's see here. Close that. Harsh is up. Where are we? Why the fuck won't that close? There you go. It should definitely be alphabetical. I agree. I doubt I can post a link to my YouTube. Well, no, I know your name. I got to go through the list and take your name out. But I did. I know I did that. For whatever reason, you were actually right on the top line. Your name was right there to see. And it was all in capital letters. I mean, your name jumped right out when I went in to unblock you. And that's what I collected. I clicked unblock. Sarge, who are you talking to? I was talking to T. Maria, who's not showing up in your chat because she's coming from Rumble. And no, I'll get it. I'll check it again. I'm just saying, I want you to know I absolutely did. You asked me twice, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And then Dago walked me through how to get there, and I did it. So, yeah. And I'll check it again. I got to have someone walk me through the process. How the fuck do I get to my blocked people? Does anybody know? It's a secret. I go under content. No, I don't want to go under content. Community. I'll go into community, see what it shows me. I said community. Oh. And that's the other thing too. Let's see. Someone sent me away, Alicia. Man, oh man. So far, I got to say, all young women have joined. Young women, whatever. I don't know your ages. I just use that as a euphemism. But hell yeah, ladies, join up. Come on in. Settings and privacy mode, maybe. Let me see here. Settings. Upload defaults, channel, community moderation. Maybe it's in here. Twizzle stick. Standard moderators. That's that. Hidden users. Okay. I got a TRISHA in small letters. Capital T, small letters. Is that you? Spell your name as it's written, as you would say has been blocked. You got it all in capital letters up there, and I unblocked somebody with capital letters. Yeah, so it's written in small letters. See? You got to be very accurate when you ask someone to chase a name. So you've been removed from that. And save. I'll refresh the page. Maybe that'll make it better. See if you can come in through YouTube now. I just refreshed the channel. I took you out. I hit save. You should be able to come in. Yeah. So, Daily Mail, we weren't even called about the plea. We received an email with a letter attached. Family member said in a statement. Yeah. And listen, that also says to me that's potential that this is just how they're going to handle it, because there is no actual acceptance of the plea deal at this point. We don't know that. And that's really the catch. That's why I put up plea deal watch. Has there been an acceptance of a plea deal or a refusal? Was it accepted or refused? I don't suggest that there was no plea deal. I'm not arguing that. What was in the plea deal would be nice to know, or not, till they're ready. But you would think there'd be a press conference first thing this morning. Let's see, what is the time difference in Idaho? Still only 7:30 in the morning there in Moscow, Idaho. So it's another 90 minutes before anything comes forward. Yeah, and I don't know how. I had it set so that my camera, I'm surprised my camera's not working. Is my camera working, folks? I don't think so. It's 8:27 in Boise, Idaho. Yep. 7:27 in Moscow, Idaho. I just Googled it. So maybe Moscow's an hour behind you there. Yeah, my camera is lit up. Why it's not playing through to the stream? Hang on a sec. Yeah. I don't know what I would have to do to get it to work. So what time is it, Sassy? Am I accurate at 7:30 a.m. there? I think I might be fairly accurate on that. I was awake by 7:15. I was up at 6:45 a.m. this morning. Drove out to a job site, did what I had to do, came back to the office. Fortunately, it's a nice home office, air conditioned. Okay, no constitutional due process, period. Got Smitty in there. What up, Smitty? Yeah. Let Smitty join. Anybody have? Well, let's come up with a different topic. What's going on? Anything going on around the world? Are the wars almost over in the Middle East and African regions? I think they might be. I think we still got some issues with Ukraine and Russia, but I don't suspect that that'll last too much longer. I suspect those countries will have to come to some agreement. Let's see here. Hey, I don't even know. My gas is about $3.09 a gallon, which is higher than I like. Yeah, if you guys want to give the channel a like, that's fine. Let's see here. Yeah, during the stream, if we can avoid using Discord, unless you need to send me a link, because that stupid thing it comes right up and covers the chat room. It's fucking annoying. I don't know about the wars, but I've been following the shit show that happened in Coeur d'Alene Sunday with the shooting. What up there, Sharp? Good to see you. We got 98 people in here. I think there's some floating in here from X. 65 over here. The rest must be on X. Let me welcome the viewers from X. You sons of bitches. Over there on that, X. Like Twitter. It's the fucking social media of outrage. We've got 31 of them. 31 of you in there. 31 of you just bastards. Let me see here. Click it up. Say morning. Hi, all. Yeah, I'll get you a link if you want to join the studio. Most of you, though, are a bit pussified when it comes to coming out onto a live stream. Don't ask me why. Maybe I'm just that much of an intimidating fucking person. I can't answer for myself. That has to come from others. There it is. Huh. I don't know. I used to tell my daughter, Abadoba Noba. Yeah. My daughter turned 25 yesterday. She's a young woman making her way through the world. They don't like being on panel. What's there not to like? You get to engage with someone as, debonair and fucking ghetto as me. You can have both sides of it. The good, the bad, never the ugly. Happy birthday, daughter. Yeah. Working on setting something up so that when I'm gone, she may never have to work again the rest of her life. But, time will tell. You guys are all welcome to come up on the panel, especially some of you women that are very active. You moderate, you're in here. And, yeah. Who knows, man? Somebody just got secretly added as a moderator. How did that happen? I don't even know how that happened. Somebody just made a blue wrench. You ain't got to moderate shit. You're just part of the blue wrench family. That's all. I just, no crying, no whining. Just take it like a woman. Oh, look, he does like you. I like everybody until I don't, right? There's not that many people I don't like. Even the people that I've banned from the show or I've given a good ass kicking to verbally and then banned, it's not that I don't like them. They're probably likable people. What up, Mark? If Mark is in here, where's Mark? I don't see no Mark. I see no Mark in here, M-A-R-C. We're just here to look pretty, as Carl says. That isn't right. That ain't. Look at Miss Potts. Nobody knew Miss Potts was like, bam. I didn't know. I had no idea. I really don't care. I'll still debate you, disagree with you when it's applicable. Likeable people can still make unlikable statements. There you go. The only statement I want to see is that Brian Kohlberger accepted or refused a plea deal. Okay? I mean, has anybody checked the Idaho portal? Does anybody know if a plea deal was if there's a court date for a plea deal tomorrow? Yeah, here's something else too I want to point out to people. All of this nonsense running around that they're going to be cutting Medicaid. They're going to cut Medicaid, blah, blah, blah. They're going to cut Medicaid. And that's absolutely true. They're going to cut Medicaid from every illegal immigrant that receives it. They're going to cut Social Security. And there's more than 5 million illegal immigrants with Social Security numbers collecting disability and other payments, collecting Medicaid and other things. And they're not going to get it anymore. And that's you want to help self-deport people? Stop giving them the fucking money for my taxes. Mama had it posted. Where's Mama? Has Mama got her show running? Nothing under that. What does Mama have posted? Can you link or copy and paste and put it in the chat room? SRB, what does she got? What does she got? Oh, that's cool. I'm looking to retire this year. When my birthday hits, I think I'm trying to make this my last year of working. Went back to work, so she hasn't been doing lives. Well, what are they claiming that she has? Yeah, can you copy it, please, SRB? Thank you. Yeah, you guys are the ones that are movers and the shakers. I'm just, just a loudmouth son of a bitch with a stream. What the hell? Who is that masked man with no mask? What the hell? What is this? Amazon.com. Summary, current case summary. Open link, a new tab. Let's see. I get nothing. Hang on. That gives us nothing. Tomboy. It doesn't even open up. Page 99. I don't get any page from it. It's a broken link of some sort. Okay. Event date and time, July 2nd, 11 a.m. Okay. Go to page 99. I can't open that link. It's a dual stack US West -2 Amazon ... That's not a good link. It gives me a broken PDF page. Tomboy charm. Yeah, it doesn't for me. I'm telling you, I click it and I get Adobe Acrobat PDF convert, sign tools, Chrome extension, blah, 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 blah. I get nothing. Current case summary, PDF. Well, I'll let it sit for a minute, see if it loads. But I'm not able to open that, and I can't. I have no idea why I can't open that. Let me hit refresh. I get the same broken page icon. Inactive series, num of times, generate AT. I don't get it. I have no idea what that is. Nothing in the case summary. Yeah, so I don't know what that is. It's a broken link. Are other people opening up that link and seeing a link? Can you all please click on Tomboy Charms link? It's not working for me. Not showing anything for me on the case summary page. And that link, hang on. Tomboy Charm, you sent me a message somewhere on here. Where? Let me see. Visit site. I get the same broken ass link, bro. Maybe it's a link that you had to sign in or something. No, I checked it. I get the same problem, Tomboy. And maybe it's a place that you signed into. And if that's the case, We'll check to see if that's the case, I guess. Right? It's just a case summary page, but there's no updates. It's because you don't have PDF. Oh, okay. Well, if I don't have PDF, then I don't have PDF. Thank God. No penicillin needed. I thought for a minute there I was going to need to take penicillin. But I've been cleared, folks. My diagnosis is I don't have PDF, and therefore I cannot and will not be hooked at the waist to the pharmaceutical giants. Ooh, I mean, you had me scared. I thought I had PDF. And what does the court page show, Alicia? Does it show plea deal with escape? But there's no update. I don't suspect there will be. To be very honest with you, I don't suspect that there will be an update until 9 o'clock, Moscow, Idaho time. And you're right. I've got nothing. I'm going to scroll this one down. Move it down. Move it. There we go. And hit reset. So I don't suspect there'll be an update for anything for a while. At least an hour, hour and a half. Order redacted. Yeah, I know about the order redacted. But that's not the same thing. Order defendant's offer of proof sealed. Second notice or sentence sealed. Notice defendant addition objection jury questionnaire. Thank you very much, Tomboy Charm. I hit caps by accident because I got the fumbly fingers this morning. The fingers be fumbling. I'm not expecting anything for a couple of hours. Yeah, same with me. It's just in text form, just for you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That was very nice of you. You know, I don't know. I said the other day I wanted to be a singer, and Dago blatantly made fun of me. I don't get it. I thought I had a voice that was worthy of radio. Why the hell can't I be a singer? Unbelievable. Oh, how much really happening in the world that's not unexpected, you know? Notifications on X, and I have friends of call me Muse that just retweeted my stream. Thank you, friends of Muse. You're probably not in the stream, though, you dickhead. Right. Yeah, they're 3 hours behind me. I'm on the East Coast. I could have waited, but it'll be interesting to see if he's accepted the plea deal. Right? Every indication is that he's accepted a plea deal. From streamers, from the media, from TMZ, from Brian Enton, from Steve Goncalves. How the fuck you say that guy's name? And yeah, and then in all fairness, if Brian does admit to this and accepts a plea deal, I agree with Steve. They if they had evidence to convict him, they should have convicted him and executed him. And that's part of my repertoire the entire time. I didn't argue guilt or innocence. I simply focused on the trial and the hearings and the info given. Yep, it's 8:42 a.m. So in 20 minutes, we'll see if there's an update. We may be able to, well, 18 minutes. But I would suspect it's kind of fucked up that the media is reporting something that's not come from the court itself. More leaking. You know what I mean? Yep, more leaking from these people. And as far as the accuracy, we'll find out soon on case summary. Thank you very much, SRB. Got that link. I got it sitting here. Refreshing it. And we'll see if there's going to be a hearing on this case. Yeah. You only get the Brian until. So yeah, it's shocking that the media would be given information that it could leak to the public. No press conference either. But you may not know that may happen this morning. That may be happening this morning. Nobody can be sure. It's the sound of silence, right? Yeah, we'll see if there's going to be a press conference or a docket update or some indication from that rogue fucking crack smoking claws fucking Bill Thompson as to where we all stand here as far as that. And that's it. Yeah, that's absolutely a fucking problem. You know, I would want him to tell me where the knife is. You know, if you want to really get a plea deal that knocks everybody out on their fucking ass, the pro burgers, right, and the guilters can jump up and down. Would be that would be part of my requirement is that you provide me the weapon you use to commit these murders, or tell me the location where and you disposed of it. I would want that as part of the fucking plea deal. Somebody sent another. Where am I here? What up, Smitty? It needs to admit to something for people to accept something. Yeah, something should. And it's the way the media works, man. They're telling you what to think, so you gotta always wonder whether what they're telling you is something you should be thinking. No, I don't think the two are connected, and if they are, like Idaho would ever tell us anyway. No, I'm not. I'm not so sure that one has anything to do with the other. Just like I said for the longest time, these people, to the exclusion of all else, focused on Bryant. There, and there's always been sealed hearings and sealed. Maybe there's something in those sealed documents that's stronger than all the shit that we've been exposed to, because we all saw what we've been exposed to, and it just doesn't. It doesn't provide him at that home. It doesn't show him there. It doesn't even show a car being involved. Now, are there some? Is there something in their grasp that's consistent with the accusations that clearly shows his car? Possibly. But you would think that would be would have been released. Yeah, it's all new to me, says Smitty on Discord. If you're on the stream, it would be awesome if you chatted through the stream instead of directly to me from Discord while I'm running the stream. Unless you got a link, Discord is available so that if there's a link, new documents, there's also this link that allows you to come up into the stream itself. Let me see here. General, let's see here. Voice general. Create an invite. I'll give you guys a create an invite. Copy that shit. I will give you guys the link to Discord. I'm not on there all the time. The last few days it's been up and running. So the first link is for StreamYard. You could become a part of the panel here. The second link is a direct link to my Discord. Show that handsome face. I've been trying to turn my cam on. I even got my hairs done and everything, man. Got on me a collared shirt, but not a dress shirt, but it's got a collar. That something says something about something. I don't know. I heard JB Gunner's doing a reset. I'm not so sure what that means. But a zebra, can't change its stripes. We'll see what happens for JB Gunner. I've been on panels with him before. He's a trip, man. Who else? I don't even know. I haven't noticed Rolo the clown trying to get back in here. That's kind of nice. And I don't know how to turn on the cam. In all fairness, I just don't know. We got a nice face in Discord. Sooty. Another one joined. And yeah, it's looking. I go into settings. I go into camera. Tells me no camera on. But then I kick it on. It recognizes it. And yeah, it doesn't affect the stream. Click on the camera button. Where's the fucking camera button? Click on the camera button to turn it back on when you're ready. I don't even know where the camera button is. Where's the camera button? New layout, edit layout. I don't see no damn camera button. Present, invite, mute. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm talking to myself, folks. Somebody's sending me something over here. Don't switch. You made it. You made it. Anybody know where the camera switch is on fucking StreamYard? Because I certainly don't. I haven't the faintest idea. I can put this up on the screen. Let's see how that works. There's the chat. Let's see if I do this. Chat's still the same ignorantly little small size. And this thing's telling me I got a camera button. I think it's pushing my buttons. It's an hamburger. I don't know what the hell that is. There's no update at this point in the court documents. It's 10 minutes prior to 9 a.m. It's 8:50 a.m. Idaho time. How many likes you have, Sarge? I don't even know. 30 or 40 maybe? I'll have to look. Hang on. We got a modest 84 people in here watching. 84 good souls, 47 likes. I ain't going to complain. Get an answer that way. It's been unbelievable. Where the hell is the camera button? Stop mic and cam. Edit name. Edit advertise. Edit mic settings. Solo layout. Yeah, okay. I was just confused, folks. When you're on your phone with StreamYard, is there a button you could push to turn your camera on? Apparently there is, according to this thing. Let me see here. No, I don't know what the hell it's doing. Yeah, so anyway, here's what it is. I made the attempt. I don't know what else to say. Let's see. Extra camera. See what you get. I don't want to upgrade. These people in StreamYard tried robbing my ass, man. They wanted me to rejoin. I think it cost $229 for a year. Well, they tried to get me to rejoin at $479 a year with some little, I don't know what the hell they included in it. But I was like, no, I ain't paying you $500 a year. You people stupid. Then they sent me another one with a discount. I was like, no, I ain't doing that either. Where's the $229 program? Where'd that? So just as it was ready to cancel, they offered me to renew at the same price. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah. You got that, so it's not like this is free for me, and I'm not complaining at all. Don't get me wrong. So this is not me going on a poor me, I got to pay. Of course you got to fucking pay. When you live life, you pay as you go, right? But it was posted on our Discord as well. Yeah, see, I don't know where the fuck the camera is on this one. Maybe if I click the screen, let's see. Oh, maybe it's up there in the screen. Hang on. Hold it. Hold, please. Remove, edit solo, mute, edit mic settings. Remove from. I could boot myself. I'm sure many people out there would find that fucking hilarious. That fucking stupid Sergeant Friday banned himself from his own channel. Now he can't get back in. That would be fucking awesome. And I was pretty happy to hear the last night Jesse had said, or no, the Purge there. The Purge, right? So he told me that people cut out me rolling over Rolo the clown. I told Rolo the clown to go masturbate to his mother's pictures or stop masturbating, whatever I said. People are cut that out and played it in different streams. Yikes. I don't even know where these things happen. How do they fucking even pop into my head to come out of my mouth? I'm as baffled as the person hearing it. When you guys are hearing shit like that for the first time, believe me, it's the first time I'm hearing it too. That's the best part of being me. I don't know what I'm going to say until it's completely spoken. Hang on. We do have a panelist here. Look at this. We have a woman and her young son that looks happy. I'm guessing they're at a sporting event, but I could be wrong.
It's Terry.
What's going on, Terry?
Nothing. I just wanted to get up real quick. I just had a couple of questions. I haven't really been following it too much after they did that. I kind of, because we had stuff going on last night, but what is going on? I mean, I know we're waiting for the thing. So what is going on in Idaho? Why are they pointing everything towards this particular area in Idaho?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, come on. 3 years now, there's been other cases that have been going on. I mean, this is not the only case that's been going on in the world. And they've got books going on. They've got, documentaries going on. I mean, every YouTube channel only covers this pretty much. Social media, they keep pushing it. I mean, now we're going into year 3. And then all of a sudden, right after it happens, literally it happened in November 22. And then all of a sudden legislation gives them, that county, $75,000 to build a firing squad building when there's a firing squad trial going on.
Right.
Is that just, either does that have anything to do with Brian Kohberger's trial? The only one going on with the firing squad that I knew of.
No, there's another murder case there.
Yeah. Which one? Are you talking about the other one that Ann's
Hang on a second. Somebody just sent me. Tomboy Charm. It's okay. He sent me. Here's where the judge says the court needs a plea deal written out for the appellate reasons. Should just be able to hit play from where he starts. All right, so I'm going to try to present. Let me see what happens here. Jeez, it's a 3-hour clip. I ain't watching no 3-hour clip. Skip it. Commercials. Hang on, folks. Skip.
Soon thereafter, we can. Certainly, probably the next day, unless it's Friday morning when we get that, then we may not start till Monday or something. But given that the jury will certainly be sequestered during that process, the plan would be to go forward.
Let me see if I can open this up in a different way here. Let's see what Tomboy Charm has probably got something of relevant capacity. All right, I'm going to present this. There was a commercial about people questioning whether they should keep both legs healthy. I don't know why that would be a question anybody would ever ask. But for me, I'm pro keeping both of my legs healthy. I mean, I'm guilty as charged. All right, Vine will send you court updates. I have.
I thought I read that Vine had gone down because it wasn't doing enough for people. Is it still up?
I guess.
That's weird.
Let's see what this guy says in the final. This thing here.
All right.
Oops, wrong screen.
Soon thereafter, as we can. Certainly, probably the next day, unless it's Friday morning when we get that, then we may not start till Monday or something. But given that the jury will certainly be sequestered during that process, the plan would be to go forward. I also will use as much time as I've told you throughout the day to get that accomplished as we can.
Thank you, Tomboy, and you did hit it at the right time, so I'm going to let this play through.
That happens, and we are in a penalty phase, and there is a finding of aggravating circumstances, where then the court's discretion about which penalty to impose is pretty limited in terms of my discretion. In fact, i.e. none. It's either life without parole or death, right? In that case, I just want to get, before we get to that, defense's position on sentencing for the burglary charge, if they have concerns about sentencing at that time as well, given that it's probably not even a tail wag on the dog, let alone wagging the dog. So, but No, I'm not going to make you tell me that now, but I will ask you before the jury goes out what you want to do.
Tom Boy, am I in the right spot?
I'm going to hand you another piece of paper that I would like to get back from the defense sometime in late June or early July, which is a declaration of last best offer. In other words, identifying whether the defendant received an offer and whether he has accepted, rejected, et cetera. And so that for purposes of post-conviction, we've documented that. Okay.
Come on the panel for a minute, Tom Boy.
Let the court reporter know whether you're going to want routinely daily transcripts or not. You don't have to tell her now, but
Daily versus real time.
so there's two options. You can have none, both, or all, or either. One is I think we can set up real time where you get real time at your table for whatever the charge is from the court reporter for that. Also, there's the potential to get transcripts each day. I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. In other words, you could order both.
They're separate fees.
All right, Tom Boy Charm. So this came up in the last hearing. Is that what you linked us to?
The May 15th hearing, yes.
All right. And so are you saying that what's being spouted about plea deals is connected to this last best offer?
Yes.
And then, in fact, this may not be a plea deal that Brian Koberger's accepted, but this is part of the, like I had said last night, part of the process.
Yeah, it's they have to have it for appellate, and that's what he said. The court doesn't have it yet. So the defense, and it was really funny because he said by the end of the month they needed to have it.
And that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say in my stream last night, that this is part of the process. Either or side can make the offer, and both either or can deny the offer, but that's also part of the process when you go through a court to a trial.
Yeah.
It's not an unusual thing to happen. That's why I won't accept that there is a plea deal that he's accepted until we see the plea deal
Exactly.
or we get the announcement.
Yeah, and even they mentioned that in like when the news stations were talking last night, they were saying the judge still had to see it and talk about it. I mean, he had to sign off on it. Well, if he hasn't even seen it, then how can he have? It could be a done deal.
Right. So we're still in that, it's like you're waiting for the fucking pilot to tell you we're going to make it or not.
And I will say this until I'm blue in the face. This trial is not over. For Steve G to go out again on mainstream media yesterday was a violation of that non-dissemination order. Again.
Is he the one that leaked to the media that there was a plea deal?
I don't know. But he was up on News Nation last night.
Well, and he is the one that's been the source of leaking data that came out of that case that he shouldn't have leaked.
Well, they said that the leak actually came back to law enforcement. So
right, but if they leaked it to him,
maybe.
if they leaked it, but look at the law enforcement personally didn't come out and leak it. They gave it to somebody, and to me, that somebody more often than not was Steve. My opinion.
Well, yeah, it's somewhere from the state side, not the defense. They didn't leak nothing.
No, the defense didn't leak anything. No, the defense. The only thing we got from the defense is in motions and arguments in open court, and it's all showing the innocence of her client. So, yeah, we don't know, and that's the funny thing. Now it's 9:03 a.m. in Idaho. Or let me back up. Moscow, Idaho.
Actually, they're in Ada County, which is Boise.
And so when would the portal be updated? At 9 a.m., right?
It should be if there's something going on.
One would think if there was going to be a hearing for tomorrow, it would be posted on the portal.
One would
So,
think.
we're doing a
Well,
plea
we've seen
deal.
a lot of things in this.
It'd be funny if it comes out to be, and I trust in what I heard in that, and I appreciate that video, and you finding it and bringing it. That was awesome. There's no doubt in it that was a big help. I wonder how. Yeah, you've always been a moderator in here for a while, so there's not much more I can do but give you the blue branch. But the blue
I
branch.
already have one. Thanks, though, Sarge.
Yeah. But no, that was a very good piece of clip. What do you think, Terry?
I think Tomboy is a great. She's on it. She's always on it.
Yeah, she is. She's like, pow, watch out. She's coming.
Boom.
No effing around. You find out, fuck around and find out. And there, you open your eyes and there's Tomboy Charm. You're like, what?
I kind of have a personal connection to this case because that's my home area. That's the college I went to.
Is it really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's home.
And then all the stuff that happened over the weekend. I'm thinking, oh, I don't even know if I want to tell people that I'm from Idaho anymore.
Nah.
Yeah, you're right. It's 3 hours behind her, and not 2 hours on. I'm irrevocably wrong. Thank you for correcting me there, Clifton Mayo.
It's
No,
not
Boise is Mountain Time.
Yeah, so it's 2 hours.
It's
behind
yeah,
you.
it would be 9:05 Boise time. It would be
Huh. See? Old Sarge is right more than he's wrong. It doesn't fucking matter.
and yes, Moscow is Pacific time.
But it switches over back. So
It
So by-
switches just a little north of McCall, Idaho.
well,
Don't ask how I know.
I got my finger on the
No,
refresh
there.
button over there. Yeah, look at it. Look at it. If the kid did it, right, then he needs to be held to account.
We've always said that, but this
I
is
know.
And I
I
do believe
gotta
that
hope. Let me tell you what I hope, just so you know. I hope that this leak is an exaggeration of what just was stated in that that hearing you showed us, and I hope that this is all being blown out of proportion, and in fact that it was made public, that it leaked to the public, is another fucking hammer against Brian by the prosecution. So in other words, I hope there is no accepted offer, that this was all based on what Hitler said here in that hearing, which I probably should back up a little bit and play again for the viewers. And if that's what happens here, it's another slap in the face to these people that just take what the media tells them and runs with it like it's
exactly. And now, we have not heard anything about this case on the mainstream channels, and all of a sudden, boom! Yesterday.
No, you've heard a lot on these mainstream channels talking about how guilty the kid is.
Well,
and surprisingly, guess who was the first one to report it?
Say that again.
And surprisingly, guess who was the first one to report it?
Brian Etten.
Yeah, Steve G's buddy.
well, that News Nation is CNN, basically the new CNN.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's all the old CNN workers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris was fired from CNN. His
It's the
brother was-
Communist News Network. Fucking crumbs.
So that to me is a little bit iffy too.
SG told Eaton. Oh, the other way around. Well, again, it's going to be funny if this is just part of the criminal proceedings process, and it was leaked out in a way that would again impugn Brian Koberger as the guilty party, right? It would just be another fucking notch in their belt that this is what we do. We don't care about evidence. You're a no good piece of shit and you should die. They did that to Scott Peterson too. Only now we find out years later the defense found a new agency took it, and they found the prosecution withheld exculpatory evidence documents from the defense team, which is like par for the course in how our court system works. It's not whether you're innocent or guilty; it's whether we can convict you or not. And that's
Why
the
does
sickness in our court system.
Why does nobody talk about the Brady Gigolo at all? Do you even know what it is? I mean, from what I've heard, it was that they withheld in a trial before this, the state withheld evidence once again.
Yep.
They withheld audio.
And no one's held to account. I mean, I'm surprised that cop up there in the Karen Reed case got dismissed. And they dismissed him on the wrong issues. I think they dismissed the guy because he was referring to a woman in negative connotations. And to be very honest with you, that just to me is not why he should have been. If that's why they dismissed him, he should have been dismissed for his conduct, for his framing of this woman, for his lying, for his not for calling her the C word and other shit that I say in a rage, you know? And not often though, lady. Very, very seldom.
Yet in this trial, they're saying that Koberger treats women bad, and that's a bad thing.
If this turns out to be just another fucking document that was supposed to be supplied to the judge and it has nothing to do with an actual plea deal, then it's going to be another. Again, I don't know. You would think. Do you think maybe the people that run around believing everything they hear will learn from that, or will they just say, "Oh well"?
No, they
Oh,
won't.
they just gonna keep going on it.
They will
Well,
not.
they blame the messenger at that point instead of blaming themselves for not thinking it through. Right? I mean, he told me I got it from him, and he's supposed to know. He's right close to the case. Why wouldn't I trust him? Well, in other words, what you're admitting is you let other people think for you or tell you how to think about things, and you never question. Then when they're wrong, then when you find out you're wrong, you want to blame the person you got your info from. That's just ridiculous.
Let me tell you, my husband, the only reason that he knows about this case is because I've been following it. He's never watched one thing about it. He only knows about it because I've been following it. And you know what? He told me yesterday, he's like, I don't understand why you're so upset. They got the right guy and he's guilty. I'm like, you know nothing about this case. And yet you have already condemned him, convicted him. What's the point of even taking him to trial?
Yeah,
And that's how so many people think.
So they're saying Proctor was fired because he was very unprofessional. And that he should have been reprimanded for that, but fired for his evilness and trying to frame that woman. And everyone else, the judge, that Bev, that nasty C word of a woman, she should be pulled. Her judgeship should be removed. All of these people should be held to account. They should be sanctioned. Their whatever their deal is, their pension, something. They should feel some pain for doing what they did in the Karen Reed trial. She hit him with a 6,000-pound SUV and scratched his arm, but he died. Somebody needs to slap me, okay? I've hit a lot of things with vehicles in my life, right? My friend and I used to buy winter cars, and we'd play bumper cars when the roads were covered with snow. It was awesome.
We did that too. And when you like go in a parking lot and pull up the brake and do the 60s.
Or you ever see how a policeman will get a car to go off the road? I forget the pit maneuver they call it. Well, we were doing that as kids before it ever had a name, a pit maneuver, where they'll come up alongside your rear fender and they'll turn their car into your bumper from the side and push the ass end of your car out from behind you and spin you out. But I was doing that as a kid. And that's what we would do on snowy days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'd find open roads or we'd be in parking lots or yeah.
You know, a couple of the same people that were in the Karen Reed case or in the Brian Walsh case that
Right.
Proctor was and Bukaki.
It's a hell of a name, isn't it? People that
And,
know what it is. I don't advise anybody look that up.
I was
Don't do
watching a little bit of it yesterday, and
What, the Bukaki videos? What's wrong with you?
the trial yesterday for Brian Walsh.
Okay.
It was just, I mean, it's like Proctor or him know how to tell the truth. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm going to back this up. Do you remember the time that you sent me this video to start at?
Yeah, I got it. Hold on.
I got the video on screen, but yeah, I'm just curious what time you set it at. Because I'd like to play it. Back it up a little bit. 2:20.
2 hours, 22 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Let me check your Discord. Hold on.
No, I'll go back that way. I'm good. All right, folks, I'm going to present this. And this was given to us by Tomboy Charm.
Certainly, probably the next.
What's wrong with his voice?
I don't know.
You know he had throat cancer, right?
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's kind of why he has the grovelly.
So in light of that, I will be as much as possible sticking with what they have provided, given that it's clear they've obviously given it recent thought. And so I think that best insulates the case from perceived error by the court is by using instructions they've recently given us. My plan would be if there is a guilty verdict on the any of the counts of murder, would begin the penalty phase as soon thereafter as we can. Certainly, probably the next day, unless it's Friday morning when we get that, then we may not start till Monday or something. But given that the jury will certainly be sequestered during that process, the plan would be to go forward. I also will use as much time as I've told you throughout the day to get that accomplished as we can. If that happens and we are in a penalty phase, and there is a finding of aggravating circumstances, where then the court's discretion about which penalty to impose is pretty limited in terms of my discretion. In fact, i.e. none. It's either life without parole or death, right? In that case, I just want to get, before we get to that, defense's position on sentencing for the burglary charge, if they have concerns about sentencing at that time as well, given that it's probably not even a tail wag on the dog, let alone wagging the dog. So, but I'm not going to make you tell me that now, but I will ask you before the jury goes out what you want to do.
Okay, so he's bringing up the burglary charge because of what? Because that involves the other two?
Well, that's how the burglary charge was how they got the extenuating circumstance to charge him with the death penalty.
Mm-hmm. And they can also involve Bethany and Dylan because they live there, right?
I don't know. I think the burglary was a stretch,
I do
but
too.
No,
Yeah,
it's law in Idaho. Any unlawful entry into a home is considered burglar, a felony
yeah,
burglary.
he didn't have
Right.
to steal anything.
No, just
Okay,
enter the
so-
home unlawfully.
Isn't it interesting that they didn't charge burglary to people that were at a house that none of the owners lived there were even there?
But they weren't unlawfully present. They were friends of the renter.
How do
So,
they know? I mean, no one was there.
yeah, you could jerk someone around that way, but it's a lot
I mean,
of
I
effort
could
and
answer the door.
aggravation.
The burglar could answer the door and say, "Oh yeah, my friend's here, but they left to go down to the store."
Right. No, you could definitely do that. But they didn't look like they were rifling through the house either. But I don't know how. I'm sure they wasn't the first time they'd ever come to that house either, right?
No.
Yeah, but the way that the questions they were asking were like, "Well, why are you here? I mean, there's no one here. If no one lives here, why are you here? You're trespassing. Why did they not make them get out?" I don't know. It's just to me, it's just like it's one
Well, they
sided.
don't have any power over who can be or not be in a home. I mean, what if you came from Florida to visit me for some holiday and I left to go to the store to get food and you guys are left in my house and the cops come? They can't throw you out of the house. Unless there's been some kind of complaint or something,
Did he steal something?
No.
I mean, if he's trespassing and burglary, wouldn't you have to take something to actually be burglary?
Well, I don't think the statute in Idaho is like that. I think
No.
it's burglary if it's unlawful entry.
Yep. It's automatically a felony burglary for unlawfully entering a home. Every state's got some weird little laws, So, it is what it is. They want to just hammer the shit out of you. But why are you going into someone's home if you don't belong there? Maybe you should get hammered, right? I think I agree with
Why
that.
are you in somebody's home if if the person that lives there isn't there? And how do you know?
Right.
So I'm sorry, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Well, you know, some of them girls had to be there. I just think they were hiding.
They were, but they didn't. But they even answered the door and said they weren't there.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, as a policeman, I'd say, and you know, you're telling me they're at a party. I mean, it was a different thing. They weren't saying, "Oh, we're visiting from out of town, so we're going to have a party at their house." Well, that's not what.
What? Who? What? Donald DeNice, welcome. Louis Theron, welcome. Clifton Mayo, welcome. Dog with glasses. That's interesting, isn't it? We better get a face up on the screen. Oh, we got the SRB face up there. The whole case has been a shit show from beginning to end, right? And then it would end. If it does end this way, it shouldn't be a surprise. And I've said it a million times. We don't know who killed those people. The killer knows. The only one that knows is Brian. Did he do it? Only he knows. There's unequivocally, that can't be debated. He knows whether he did it or didn't. And if he didn't do it, then whoever did do it, they unequivocally know they did it. So,
well, I think if he's going to take this plea deal, that's great. Okay, I'll step down, but he needs to allocate.
He needs what?
He needs to allocate. If he truly did this, then he needs to say only things that the killer would know.
Right. And I think the knife, he should tell the police whether maybe that knife search on Sunday turned something up. I don't know.
Really?
Maybe he gave him the location of the weapon. I don't
really?
think so. I don't think so.
Wouldn't it be ironic that Jason Jensen found a knife?
Wouldn't it be? Yeah. Look at it. I don't care what anybody says. There's no evidence. There's no evidence to contradict. There is no evidence to contradict the crime starting at 417. There's none. And so, as far as I'm concerned, with the dog barking and all the chaos that's picked up by the camera 50 feet away, that denotes the beginning of the crime. And a minute and a half later, Bethany texts Dylan, "What the fuck's going on?" So that's something to that effect, right? So that tells me that that's when they first were alerted to a threat in that home. And that means Koberger couldn't be the threat because the car sped away. If that's his car, that car left at 4:21 a.m. And that nowhere would have been enough time to commit four homicides like that. So that's my opinion on the case, right, wrong, or indifferent. Until somebody can show us that there was a crime in progress prior to 417, the evidence is irrefutable at this point as to the start of the crime, in my opinion. What up, Donald D. Nice?
Yeah, I think he did it. He did this. If he does actually find it, now let's say it ain't.
You're coming in very garbled. You're not coming in well.
I said, Kathy Schenk from Delphi found it in her garage. I said, "You're funny."
I couldn't hear you there, Don, because you were your mic is messed up or something.
It's like water.
Yeah, it sounds like water running. He's got like a leaky shower or something. Are you in the shower? Maybe that's why he sounded. My stream ain't that important. Although, welcome to the 184 people that are in here agonizing it out with us. Is there a plea deal or is there not a plea deal? Is the plea deal that's being discussed and told as a plea deal is simply an extension of the court requirement for final offers to be made to plea deals? We don't know. Thanks to Tomboy Charm for bringing this segment of the hearing forward. Pretty nice. So that's his fish tank. That's her fish tank. Tomboy, we lost the nice, and I didn't boot him, just so people know, because I am famous for just booting people. But usually I wait towards the end of the show to do that. Dago jumped out last night, not even realizing the stream was going to go on for another half hour. He preempted his getting booted out of here prematurely. He's a premature. I won't even finish that statement. Oh my God, Dago. Poor son of a bitch. Oh boy. Yeah, it looks like it's threatening the rain up here.
Yeah, that's something new and different.
Fucking A, we've had more rain up here than fucking Britain ever sees. It's crazy. I feel like I live in London. Add to stage. Mr. DeNice, are you there?
Okay, now how's that? Is that better?
That's
Yes.
some, yeah, significantly
Okay.
so.
I had Bluetooth on, that's why.
Oh, that's a weird name for a device. I always wonder why they call it
Yeah.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, earbuds.
But so what did you say? You were saying something about that 417
I
time?
said that he did this. I think if he does sign this plea deal, he's doing it to avoid the death.
Mhm. To be honest with you, though, I don't know, man. Death penalty, you could appeal that, and other illnesses could kill you before you even get to the chair.
Yeah, but laws will change. He's probably thinking laws can change down the road or something, and he might
Nah.
have a chance at like appeal or something.
Dude, he's rolling the
He can't
dice
do
for
an appeal.
2 years. What?
Yeah.
He can't do an appeal, can he?
No,
I mean,
that's part of it. If he signs this, what it said, no appeals. It's one of the stipulations.
It's been going on for 31 months, and he stood silent. A judge entered
He
the
just
plea.
kept trying to delay. He got everything denied, and then he was trying to just keep delay.
Actually, he can appeal, but it has to do with the prosecution of him, his rights. He can appeal it. He just has to go a different route.
But why, why not make the state do its job? He's been there for 30 months, 31 months, right? I just don't see taking a plea deal. Even if I did the crime at this point, I don't see the value in taking a plea deal. Your life is going to be ended regardless of whether you're breathing or not. Your life is over. So, what you want to spend your life behind bars like that? You're a target for the other inmates for killing three young women. So you're not going to be in any way, shape, or form comfortable for the rest of your life, or you find yourself with something stuck in you.
Yeah, he's gonna have to watch his back like crazy.
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
if he was convicted and they went to trial, he was convicted and found guilty, and the death penalty stood. Don't they put them in isolation?
Yeah, you're by yourself about 23 hours. I think it's like 23 hours, 1 hour a day for activity.
But if you're also deemed a risk to the community inside the prison, or you're considered that you're at risk, they'll put you in the same confinement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they segregate you.
They do that now with kids.
It's called in some places it's called the hole. In some prisons it's called the hole.
So it's
Believe me,
it's
I
a
know.
strange thing, man.
I've been there once maybe, and then never again.
I wouldn't sit 30 months in jail and not roll the dice. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
My
and they need to
niece
change
said
the law. They need to change the law on death penalty cases where you couldn't. If I could say like if you killed like one person, but like 4, if it's like 2 or more, I think they need to change the law. Of no pleas. You gotta
I
go
want that brittle bone motherfucker to tell me how he turned into a ninja that night. That's what I want to hear.
Well, that's the thing. How did he do it by himself? Even if he had anything to do with this, how did this happen with one person?
I don't know, and I don't consider him a serial killer.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
Doesn't a serial killer mean that you're doing something over a prolonged period of time? The guy committed 4 murders. I don't think there's any serial. None of my cornflakes are mixed in there. He's just a killer. No serial about it.
Wants to define as a serial killer.
I think a serial killer, though, is historically shows it's somebody like Ted Bundy and that BTK and that Gigolo and numerous others.
Well, they've been comparing him to Ted Bundy.
It's on the docket. Notice of hearing. Somebody just said this. I just
he is
refreshed
nowhere
it.
near Ted Bundy.
But
Notice of hearing.
Wow,
why isn't this opening up for me?
Just dropped.
No, it just did. But why isn't this opening for me? I got to join the site? I got no PDF, they're telling me.
Yeah, PDF. You need a PDF opener, probably.
Yeah. So if somebody can put that up here. I don't know if you guys can drop it in the back and I can present it.
Where was it posted?
It's on the Idaho site. Notice of hearing. New. Refresh your page. It's the very top item. It's posted for 6/30/25, which was yesterday. I see it. I just can't open it, folks. I don't
Wow.
know why I don't have a
Wow.
PDF. Hang on.
Mhm.
I thought I had PDF on this machine. Somebody just sent something. Hang on.
Alicia just sent something.
No, I don't have the PDF reader, so I'm. It asked me to update it the other day, and I didn't do it. So I can't open that link, folks. And that's if somebody is able to, that's fine. Let
I'm
me
on
get
a tablet, so it wouldn't do very good on a tablet.
yeah. So I'm handicapped here for some reason. My Adobe is not. Let me see what it says here. I
You'll
try
have to
opening
look
it.
into a PDF. You'll have to look later into a PDF opener.
I don't know.
What is this? If I try to open, it's no longer available. It cannot be opened.
You'll hear like running water.
Yeah, somebody's aquarium, we're being told. And now it's still on. Here's what it says.
No, there's nothing here. It's not even on the case summary. Nothing.
No, it's there. I see it on that portal. It shows me.
Yeah,
Oh, I
State of
can
Idaho.
see it on that portal too, but it is not on the
It's
case
probably
summary,
not
and
uploaded yet. It's
nothing
probably just
has
there.
been downloaded
probably-
into the documents.
Right, but it's probably not fully in there yet.
July
It's probably
2nd, 11 a.m., Judge Hippler, the Ada County Courthouse. All parties and counsel are reported to be present. Trent Triple, Clerk of the Court, Renee Waters, Deputy Clerk. So, yes, there is an order to appear tomorrow in court.
Does it say a
And
time?
then, 11 a.m.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm having a hard
I
time
thought it was
believing this
11:15.
simply
Why?
because this Renee Waters, she don't stamp anything. She signs it.
Someone's saying it. See, I thought there was supposed to be a hearing in the middle of the week this week. Maybe I'm wrong. But it may be an official hearing to either accept or
Yeah,
refuse.
but I think that was tied to Pennsylvania. I think that stuff was Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah, it was. So, so now there's a hearing tomorrow, folks. So the plea watch for today is coming to its rightful conclusion. As far as the topic of the hearing, we don't know, but we are led to believe that it's a plea hearing at 11 a.m. tomorrow. That'll be 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It'll be interesting to see what the hearing's about, if Mr. Koberger's accepted a plea deal, and what the terms of that plea deal are.
That's 15 minutes earlier
Have
than
you
what I
noticed
was.
something?
I heard 11:15, but 11 a.m. That's 15 minutes different. That 15 minutes difference.
Did you guys
Yeah.
notice something? I'm looking
Sure.
at it says I certify that on this date I served a copy of the attached to, and it gives never mind. I was gonna say I didn't see Ashley Jennings' name on
Somebody
it.
got a link to the Indie Zone video. Somebody share a link to the Indie Zone video that T. Marie is referring to. So T. Marie, I did. Let me think. Are you in there anymore? I took you off of being blocked. And I don't
Who's
have.
Madison Allen?
I do want to say. Let me think here. I don't know. I don't know any of you
sounds like
people.
Something PA. That sounds like PA.
We do have 73 likes. I want to appreciate viewership that hits like. Very nice. Thank you. Second
Okay, I
PA.
don't know
Not
who
first.
Madison Allen is.
What is the Indie Zone leak? Can anybody connect to the Indie Zone? Apparently,
I've never even heard of it.
I don't know why you're invisible. I unblocked you. I don't know what's going on. If one of the moderators, you got a beef with a moderator or something in my channel, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't be unblocked. I not only unblocked and saved it, but I hit refresh on the pages to make sure it would accept it. So, yeah. My channel. Let's see here.
Because that'd be key too, if it's open or closed. But something like that, you would figure would be open.
Yeah. Is it a closed hearing?
Look.
One person on chat, I've seen it in there. They asked, Serena or something like that, asked if it's open or closed. She was asking
Doesn't
the question.
say.
So you probably figure if it don't say, it's usually open.
Yeah, I mean, it says all parties in council are required to be present.
Then that's open.
Is that
Well,
open?
there we go, folks.
Likely.
30 months together, and now we may find a conclusion to the case, which it'd be in some
He
sense
ran out of options.
about
That
time.
man, he ran
Well,
out of options.
if he pleads guilty, if that's what this is, and
What do you think? What will you think if he signs it?
that he killed him.
That he's guilty, right? Because when
Well, if he admits to guilt, you have to accept the outcome of the.
yeah, if somebody pleads to me, if you plead to something, that means you're guilty in a way because you're admitting to it.
Hey, I'm done. Come on in there.
I'll be there in a minute.
Don't hide in that bathroom.
Yeah.
It's quiet in here.
Now, I'm quiet out there too. I'm going nuts.
That's my mom, everybody.
Going nuts.
What is Kathy saying the hearing is, T. Marie?
Yeah, where are they
Indy's
getting that?
going.
Where are they getting that info? Where are they getting that?
I don't know. But T. Marie is telling you that the Indy Zone. Let me just look at the Indy Zone. Hang on, I'll get rid of this docket. I'll go to YouTube. I subscribe to her and a bunch of people. So let me just say
You
it's
think
Kathy.
those family letters were emailed, Dago? The letters that the families got? Do you think that was through email?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Or do you think it was like they actually took them to their house or something? By like courts and wherever they're at.
All right. So for the next 4 minutes, let's just let Indy talk. I'm gonna put her video up on screen. I'll post a link to her stream.
Okay,
Give
sorry.
her a thank you for doing what she does, because she does follow these court documents fairly well. That's a link, and now I will. I'll put that up on the not an invite. I want to do a present. There we go. Share screen. Stupid thing. There we go.
My name is Kathy. It is the morning of July 1st, 2025. As I am recording this, the courts in the 4th Judicial District, Ada County, opened approximately 50 minutes ago. And I've been checking the docket and the case summary page in Idaho versus Koberger to see if there is any filing that would confirm this plea deal that the media has reported, that one of the family members of the victims has reported since news broke the afternoon of June 30th, 2025. Now, the case summary page maintained by the clerk of court has not been updated since June 30th, 2025. That would have been around 12:38 p.m. News of this alleged plea deal began to break and then spread by wildfire after the case summary page in the docket was updated yesterday. So as of right now, there's nothing on the docket in the form of any sort of filing by either of the parties regarding a plea deal, a notice of hearing, or a court order regarding what we have heard is a hearing that will be entertained apparently July 2nd, 2025, which is Wednesday. We've heard that there would be a hearing that day before the court where the plea would be presented. If that's the case, that might also be the time when the change of plea from not guilty to the 5 counts that Mr. Koberger is still, as of this time, scheduled to defend at trial, which is still scheduled as of this time on both the case summary page and the docket, the amended scheduling order of June 26, 2025, all still says that the trial is on as of right now. If you are monitoring the case summary page, you want to go to page 100. That's the last page. And if there is any new filing that happened after the last filing that appears on both the docket and the case summary page, it was a court order that Judge Hippler entered yesterday, June 30th. It would appear after that order, either later in the day on June 30th or July 1st. By the same token, the public docket itself, if there is any new filing that is released to the public, such as a notice of hearing, you want to look at the public docket and see if anything is new after the last item that appears as of right now, which is the court order that had granted a motion to seal the defense's second supplementation to the proposed jury questionnaires and objections. That document was filed June 27th, Friday, and the court order granting the motion to seal that information from public disclosure is the last document on the public docket. And again, the most recent item that appears on the case summary page. We are going to continue to monitor this developing situation for any sort of confirmation from the court of these recent developments of an alleged plea deal and a possible hearing on July 2nd, 2025. So please continue to stay tuned. And until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.
The best.
And there you have it from one of our fellow streamers. And yeah, I got a message on X, you know, and they put it in quotes, but I think that that's a standard statement, just like documents that'll exonerate, you know, you won't be arrested if you're brought back to our state for any blah, 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 blah. So the statement that this resolution is a sincere attempt to seek justice for your family. This agreement ensures the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will not be able to put you and other families through the uncertainty of decades of post-conviction appeals. And so, in fact, we'll see what happens tomorrow. The Indie Zone is not putting this forward as a hearing to entertain a plea deal. Just so that we're clear, we'll keep an eye on that court docket. But at this point in the plea deal watch, we're still no further or no closer to know exactly the contents of the plea deal or his acceptance or refusal of it. You know, and at the last second, this kid could change his mind, right? Because in this situation, you're making a choice that will determine the complete remainder of your life. No, there's no ambiguity in this deal. And the remainder of his life will be in prison. So he spent 30 months fighting it. And, you know, he didn't. The other thing, too, that's strange, he didn't do that for self-gratification. He didn't do that for narcissism. He didn't do that for what we have seen a lot of these killers of multiple people do. No problem, Terry. We didn't see him use the court as a process to do anything really overtly. I think the worst image we got of Brian Koberger is him taking a picture of himself with his thumb up. So we'll see what he does, but he just be aware that his decision will affect his life. And unlike most decisions we make daily, we're unaware of the outcome of those decisions. And that could be even, getting in your car and going to the store could be a life-changing decision. But we make so many decisions to come and do everything every day that's not something we ever even consider. God forbid, unless it happens, right? But this
There's
man now
risk in
has to make.
everything. There's
Yeah,
risk.
he has,
We're never guaranteed tomorrow.
no, you're not. But again, you don't concern yourself with that until tomorrow comes and it's like, oh, this is the end, right?
Exactly.
He's got to give up something. I want to see the murder weapon, just something that ties him to the case with no ambiguity.
Do you think he'll make a statement though? You think they may force him to do that as a full statement?
I'm not sure he would do that, to be honest with you. He seems to be of the kind that wants to be kept to himself and leave him alone. He doesn't even seem to interact with Ann much in the courtroom over all these hearings,
No, he just sits there and stares.
Yeah. But I would like to see a murder weapon, or the location thereof, and then people out there searching for the murder weapon.
Or tell where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he stood silent, and he's.
But
As far as I'm
think,
concerned,
do you think after this is all over, like let's say 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 years down the road, that he'll do interviews?
oh, I'm
Like
sure
in
he
jail?
will, possibly. Yeah, if you're in jail for a period of time, everything changes about you,
Right. They may
He
open
spent
it up so he can do an interview and give the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
right. I used jail as an opportunity. I never went to prison, even though I had felony charges and convictions. I never spent any time in prison. But when I went to jail, it was probably because I used it as an opportunity to change my life, education, and
Yep.
different things I did while I was there in jail, right? So, well, once you kill somebody, I think he should get the death penalty. To be very fair,
Yep.
I
Why
honestly
not?
think that this gentleman should be, if he's admitting to committing this crime, and he did commit the crime as he admits, which you'll have to accept unequivocally, then I think he should get the death penalty. There should be no leniency.
Yeah, the laws need to change on that. I wish they would change the laws, like death penalty. You shouldn't be able to plead on death penalty.
No, there should be. No, I agree with you. I don't
Especially,
know.
I can see if it's one person, but if you do more than like 2, like I said, 2, 3, 4, that should maybe automatically death penalty. You got to take it all away. No pleading. They need to change that law.
He himself, the defendant, has to admit guilt. His client, his lawyer can't do it for him.
Nope, it's got to come from his lips.
Yep. Well, SRB, sometimes logic leads you to a path of being incorrect, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why you guys have noticed I don't argue his guilt or innocence. I pay attention to the evidence that's been supplied to us, the arguments against that evidence, and go from there. Maybe Cy Ray found something in those phone logs. Maybe Cy Ray disappeared because the phone logs did put Brian at that house, or did track to be that car. We don't know.
Or there's something that's sealed that must have come and he found out about it that was sealed or something. And
well, sealed wouldn't be sealed from him.
Right.
Right. Sealed evidence isn't sealed from the defendant, or it can't be evidence at all.
Yeah, that's true.
So let me see here. My channel. Let me see if I can get back into YouTube.
Do you think
But
the witness is not the one to testify and all that? You think that leaned his way or swayed his way?
No, they could have came in through Zoom or something.
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
other
Yeah,
alternative
courts
ways
can
for
make-
witnesses
courts
to
can
provide
make
testimony.
Yeah, courts will always find a way.
Yeah. And I don't think the witnesses were going to put up anything that was going to be and I think it was for the mitigation phase more than anything else. See, that's where we've been for a while, and I think a lot of us may have may not have given any attention to that, but you were at the phase where they were discussing the death penalty and mitigating factors to the death penalty. And she's been putting motions in.
Convicted, though. That would have only been there if it
convicted. Correct. But those witnesses were going to be connected to that. Those Pennsylvania witnesses, character witnesses, or at least people that have had life experiences with him.
Or ran into him or knew him well.
Yeah, yeah. So not they weren't going to be witnesses that could exonerate the guy. They weren't alibi witnesses. They
No.
weren't first. Yeah, they they know as much about it as probably the next guy. So. Hmm. And I don't know why I can unblock somebody. Do you know SRB? How is it that I can unblock a name and they can't get into YouTube? Do they need to refresh their YouTube or something? I that person's name is completely out of my block list. So, for you moderators who've been doing this for a while, if you have an answer to that, I would appreciate it. It's crazy. They seem witnesses to dispute one fact each only. Well, I think he had a good row at it. I think the public paid a lot of attention to okay, thanks, Sassy Cassie. You know, the case as presented to the public didn't seem like they could overcome the hurdle of beyond a reasonable doubt. But an admittance to the crime surpasses beyond a reasonable doubt to no other level beyond that, right?
Yeah, but do you think taking plea? Do you think that's a admission of guilt when you
It
plead?
must be, or you can't. You have to accept the guilt. Yeah, you have to admit to doing it.
Right. That's what a plea. That's the purpose of a plea deal, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's to avoid the court trial. That's all it's for. And
Yeah.
you know,
Saves,
98% of these cases of all kinds are plea deals.
yeah, but some states don't, like I think New York don't even have deaths. I think it's now all just life.
Yeah. Well, they're also gonna elect some communist as mayor. It's like these people don't realize that
Yeah,
the
that's
financial punishment they're being
that's
put
a
under.
nightmare. Wait, that's a nightmare that you don't want.
Well, I'm glad. I hope they vote for it. I'm a New Yorker, but that's
I'm in
what they've done.
Ohio. I'm Ohio.
Yeah,
I'm
just
born here.
go right ahead and turn it into a communist city. I don't care. I'm to the point now. I'm at an age in life. I'll just sell all my assets, take all my cash, and go to a different state. I don't.
Why did I think you were in Utah or Idaho? I thought you were from there.
No, no. I don't know. I don't know. I've never indicated I was.
Oh, okay.
Sharia,
My
right?
bad. Yeah, that's a shocker. New York.
New York. I'm nowhere near the Big Apple. I'm way over.
My one family member was there, Rochester. He was a administrator, but he's passed now. He passed away about 5 years ago in
No.
Rochester, New York. He was like a nursing home administrator. His name was Jim.
Yeah, I don't know. I live not that far. I'm in the area, Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse.
Right, right. So many little town, little big cities.
Yeah, they're like a million people in them, and they're not
Yeah, here
like New
we
York,
ain't nowhere.
multiple
I
million.
think my city's like 25,000. This ain't even a city; it's a town.
Yeah, that's a town. We have suburbs like that, suburbs of Buffalo. They have populations like that, but they're called towns. Yeah, and she's
And I
right.
sit right in the middle of like 3, 4 counties. I sit right in the middle.
Yeah, let's wait and see what happens. If this,
Until his signature is on that document, anything can happen.
I got to say this to folks. Every time a new piece of information was spread that impugned Brian Koberger or made the argument he was guilty because of this piece of information or that piece of information, every time that came forward, it all turned out to be nothing and actually ended up being exculpatory in the end. So I don't know which way this is going to go. That's happened so many times in this case that who knows if he's pled guilty or not, or he accepted a plea deal. I mean, the bottom line is you got until the minute you sit in that courtroom.
Yeah, until you get your hand on that document and where the pen's in your hand and
Right.
ready to sign it, then it's legit.
No, I don't know that the hearing would define itself by the name of plea hearing. Maybe.
No, it wouldn't say that. It wouldn't say that.
I
It'd
don't
just be
think
like
so.
a regular hearing. Usually they're just like regular hearing documents. You don't get any plea on anything until you're inside the courtroom.
Right. And he's got until he stands up and the judge says, "Are you understand? Did your lawyer explain it to you? Do you
Have we
on the
confirmed if it's open or closed? I'm hearing some people
No,
say closed. I'm
hearing
hearing some
closed.
people say open.
We'll have to see. I think
Yeah,
it's a
we don't
closed
even know
hearing.
that yet.
I think it's a closed hearing based on Kathy from Indy Zone, but I also think that the hearing that they're referring to may not in fact be a new hearing.
Right, that might be PA. That might be for witnesses or something in PA.
I have no idea what it is. Bear with me a minute. I do have a call.
All right. It's wild, I tell you that. It's gonna be wild to see. For sure. 11 a.m. tomorrow. Thought it'd be that's Idaho time though. Here to be like 2 hours later than that. I think
It's not a new hearing, according to TM Marie.
it's not a new hearing.
So that's what I thought. I was saying that yesterday night. I was saying it today. I thought there was a hearing scheduled for midweek this week.
I thought
That's
it
what
was
I
PA.
thought.
I thought all that stuff was in
I
PA.
got another call. Bear with me.
Okay. Yeah, that was yesterday. They scheduled next week. Yeah, it was PA was yesterday and scheduled for next week. Oh, they could be doing all the Zoom stuff too from PA to Idaho on that stuff. That's what would make logic. Because really, sometimes you don't get through on the documents. Don't tell you exactly what a hearing is about. Appreciate everybody in chat. You hit that like button, helps the algorithm on the channel. Thanks y'all waiting. Sarge Friday had a phone call. Be right back.
Fucking people, these telemarketers, they use local area
Yeah,
codes.
man, they
I
be
don't-
tricking. We get them nonstop Monday through Friday. We get them from starting like 8 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock. We're even on the do not call list. It's medical. They get around it because it's medical related.
Yeah, mine's all
We
crazy.
get
So
them crazy.
I run a business and I got to answer the phone because that's how you eat, you know?
Right,
And
right.
so I apologize for that, folks.
It's
And
all
you're
good.
right. As a defense attorney, you don't want to know innocent or guilt. That's really not your job. Your job is to
Well,
work through the evidence presented
yeah,
against your client and provide a defense. That's what you're there
right.
for.
They're there to do a job, not the way that. Because a lot of clients won't even tell a lawyer like that anyway the truth. Most times they don't even get the truth out of your client.
I don't think the defense was cooked. And so, you know, I don't know what we're going to be exposed to, what we'll see if he
Wait,
took a plea deal.
something had to trigger him to do that, or he's seen something, or he just figured he ran out of options and to save
Well,
his
he had to have done it. He had to have done it. Let's be honest. Why would you admit to a quadruple homicide if you didn't do it?
exactly.
There-
Why
there's-
did you why and you said from the beginning you were going to prove your innocence. Why would you make a statement like that at the beginning and then do this? That means you actually did the crime. If you plead, if he puts his hand on and then signs that document, he's guilty.
Right. Right. I mean, and that's how I've always said it. I've never argued for his innocence or his guilt. I've always
I
tore
wanted to
apart
see the trial. I
the
was
data they
leaning
gave us.
guilty at the beginning. I was leaning guilty at the end, and then when all this stuff just got more crazy and crazy and crazy, and wanted to see all that unsealed stuff, I waited. I was going to say I was wait till the trial. I wanted to see the trial. I want to see everything.
It's
It was
still
just getting
speculation and
wild.
rumors. See, Kara, we don't know for a fact that tomorrow's hearing is the plea deal, but you know, at this
All we
point,
can do is wait and
what
see.
they've claimed through the media and through all these other outlets is actually the date. They said that 11 o'clock on Tuesday there'd be a hearing for the plea deal. That in fact there is a hearing at 11 o'clock tomorrow. That information was available on the 30th or Friday of last week. But anyway, so everything is lining up that the kid took a plea deal. And there's at this point, even though there's no signed plea deal, it looks like it's going that way.
It's leaning that way, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean the data that they've given us is being confirmed.
Yeah,
So
and I wouldn't I wouldn't think on the Gonzalez family page would say it's true if it ain't true.
right. So what do you think, Twiz? I seen Twizzlestick just jumped in here. You're welcome to come on the panel. Tell us what you know or what you think. Yeah, he really doesn't. He's weird with that. Sometimes he does.
What's that?
Sheriff's return criminal, 7/21/30 hearing vacated, 7/20.
Field
7/20.
hearing. Oh, those are all old ones, right? Or July come up. That's for all the stuff that was coming up.
Well, then he's admitting guilt, whether he agreed with part of it or not. That's an admission of guilt as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, when you plead to
Right.
anything, it means you've done the crime.
Yeah, and you got to be an idiot to go this long and not roll the dice at a trial. I mean, listen, he's gonna look back on this in 10 years and wish he'd have taken the death penalty. You know, these movies where you see some old timer in jail for, you see this guy's been in jail for 50 years and he's a nice, calm, wise old man. I mean, those are pipe dreams. That's not what happens.
He ain't gonna last 50 years. He ain't gonna make it. Maybe 30 if he's lucky.
Yeah, I would have ran it right through the fucking trial. If I did it or not. I mean, that's
what
how
the
it
purpose
rolls.
of a death penalty case is. Take it to trial.
All right. If he did it, let him take the punishment that's being outlined by the state. The state's got the evidence to convict.
And if he
You got a
pleads,
chance. You got a chance to beat it.
broken. Justice is broken.
Like I said, I was arrested but never indicted for a burglary. I wouldn't admit to it. And their evidence was strong, but the evidence was overwhelmed by my fact and my presence and tasks that I was doing was a reasonable doubt you couldn't overcome. I was painting the hallway, the doors, the trim, I was painting the whole. It attached to 4 different apartments, and
Can't,
so
like,
to
kick
find
in
my
a door,
fingerprint
can't
somewhere
like
would be.
Can't burglary be like kicking in someone's door too?
What?
When you kick in somebody's door, can't that be called burglary too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
like
a lot of things they
breaking,
can
yeah,
attach to that.
breaking in the door and breaking the
But
door.
it is weird timing.
Yeah, it fits up because he ran out of options. That's the only thing I can think of. He ran out of delays. He ran out of, and everything he was trying is getting denied.
We're aware there's a hearing tomorrow for 11 a.m. Love true crime, and if like I said, I don't know what the hearing's going to be. It'd be funny if it's not about taking a plea deal, right?
It's the only thing because it wasn't on the docket yesterday or last night, so it has to be something new. It just probably doesn't say that in the documents.
Well, there's really no documents other than stating that everybody must be present for the hearing.
Yeah,
So
all everybody. That means something's
Right.
going down.
yeah, I want to know where the murder weapon was disposed of.
And
In all
then,
fairness.
they're saying that if he does, and it goes all the way through, like he signs and all that, then sentencing, they're saying it's going to be the end of July.
The what?
That his sentencing will be at the end of July, where the victims come in and say their statements and stuff.
Oh,
That'll be like end of July.
see, there is room for what Twiz is saying to be actually true. What's happening? The prison guard PA handed over stuff. What was in there? I don't know. No one knows, Lewis. Was there a hearing tomorrow regardless? No, not to my knowledge. I thought there was supposed to be a hearing this middle of this week, and it's one of those rare cases where I'm wrong.
It's all PA. That was PA stuff that I knew.
Yeah, Twiz, you might be crazy, Twiz. It's
Tomorrow's
going to be
a
interesting.
wild
So
one.
tomorrow,
Yeah, it's going to be a wild one tonight and until tomorrow.
Brian is in jail for a reason. That's a pretty
don't
inept
know that.
point of view.
We
but
don't know that.
It's a pretty inept point of view to suggest that everybody's in jail for a reason. Not everybody that's in jail
There's
has
some
the right
innocent
reason
people.
attached to them.
There's a lot of innocent people still in jails and stuff.
Right. It's not even innocent people. I was in charge. Listen, I was charged with possession of drugs. And let me tell you, there was about 10,000 fucking times you could have legally charged me with possession of drugs because they was in my pocket. Okay? The time they arrested me and charged me with possession of drugs, the drugs were in Don Denice's pocket, not mine. And we were walking down the street and they stopped us because they saw us come out of a drug house and they searched us.
They seen you exchanged it, or they
Listen.
must have seen you pass it.
No, listen, we came out of the drug house. You got the drugs in your pocket. We're walking together. They stop and search us, and they charge us both with possession.
Yeah, we're both guilty because we're both.
No,
still
we're
guilty
not.
of both.
No, we're not.
Oh, it's possession. Whoever has it, it's more guilty than the other person.
Well, possession has got a definition by the Supreme Court of New York.
Right.
Possession means
That you're
that
guilty.
possession means that it's within your domain to possess.
Right, right,
Your pocket is not my domain.
right.
And I sued them and won. They not only had to dismiss the case,
Wow.
but I sued them and won for false arrest. And I think they paid me $5,000. And I went and bought drugs with that money. How you like them apples?
That's wild.
It was when I was a fucked up young man.
It went full circle.
It was like, yeah, now you're paying for my habit, you dumb motherfuckers. What else did they arrest me for? They arrested me on behalf of my stepbrother. So he had charges that he was supposed to have gone to get his sentencing issued, and he skipped town. So they had a bench warrant for him, and they arrested me, claiming I was him. I was like, are you people, you got to be stupid.
All right,
They ain't
Diego, I
me.
gotta head out. My lunch is ready. So I gotta go get some lunch. You have a
All
good
right,
one.
thanks for coming up.
Thanks for letting me up on the panel.
All right, but listen, you can't make any excuses. If the kid admits to it after 30 months of hearings and fucking arguments, if he admits to committing the crime, he committed the crime. And you move on to a new case. This case is over. So we'll know for sure tomorrow. And we're still going to have a plea deal watch. We're waiting for anything else. And yeah, he's going to have to accept the charges as laid at his feet. No, well, he's going to have to admit to doing it along. I mean, the bottom line is, and that's been my point the whole time, even in all the discrepancies and all the chaos, confusion, and even in some of the chaos and maybe even dishonesty to the police, maybe they lied to get one. What, all of that's not going to matter. He pleads guilty, and that stuff is all gone. It's not an issue. And you know, like I've said the whole time through, it's the people that need to be watched are the people that are in charge of enforcing our laws. Okay. He wants a BTK confession. There you go. That guy, see what an idiot that guy was. He outed himself with a fucking floppy disk. A lot of people don't know what a floppy disk is. Many of us do. I think there is evidence of him at that home. We'll see, me, myself, and I. And we may never know exactly what it is that caused him to capitulate. And I'm not going to accept any excuses. It was too much stress. He knew he couldn't win. He was da-da-da-da-da. No, I'm sorry. You don't know you can't win until you actually lose, right? Where, you know, there's no sense in not trying. There's no such thing. I'll give you an example. You can define a can, right? Can we all describe what is a can? A can is round. It's typically made of aluminum or tin. You put vegetables and liquids in cans. Cans hold gasoline. You can define a can, but you cannot define can't. You can't put a physical description on can't. To me, can't is quitting on yourself, okay? And a can is describable through some physical object. A can't is not. And I think that if I were Ann, I'd be slapping that kid all over the fucking interview room. Are you out of your fucking mind? 30 months? I don't care if you did it or not at this point. You need to take it to trial. If he please, I never want to hear his name again, says the done one. That's a perfect name for that attitude. Look at that. The done one. If he please, I never want to hear his name again. Well, I don't accept and I will not accept any excuse for a plea deal. If he accepts a plea deal and says he's guilty, folks, he's the perpetrator. That's it. All of our disbelief, all of our confusion, all of our misunderstandings, or anything that shows even malfeasance by the prosecutor, the judge, means nothing. Okay? So, you know, whether he's a dead man walking, even if he gets wins in a court battle, Gambling on taking 4 lives but won't roll the dice on a trial. Yeah, I agree, Demon Dog. All he needed was one juror to hang it. He needed one hung juror. And to me, it seemed that they had a strong case for reasonable doubt. But I've said this numerous times. Although 417 is the only documented evidence that we have to denote the time beginning at 417. There may be something between 4 a.m. and 417 that makes that just an additional confirmation of a crime. But we don't know what happened from 4 a.m. to 417. There's no discussion. Good morning, Vietnam. What's up, Jesse? There is a hearing tomorrow morning. We're not sure if the topic is going to be a plea deal, but based on all the noise and all the rhetoric, it appears that there will be a plea deal tomorrow. Oh, you're 12 hours ahead of me. You're 12 hours ahead of me. That's good to know. Well, as usual, there's a link at the top of the page. If anybody wants to join the link, join the stream. I'm going to shut it down here pretty quick, though. River Bear, what was debunked? Can you specifically tell us what has been debunked? River Bear Teacup. This is wild, right? A wild end to a wild case. A wild end to I'd have rode this horse till his legs fell off. There's no way. I'd have rode this horse till just the horse died. I'd have beat that dead horse until that dead horse evaporated. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's a good idea, grilled cheese. But I think yesterday I had a T-bone. Not sure what I'm going to do today. He may be referring to the timeline. I don't know what your statement is. It was debunked. I don't know what was debunked. Many things have been debunked. Oh, well. Oh, the IDs, him possessing the IDs of the victims. Yes, that was debunked. And yeah, I want to know the sealed information too. Yeah. And Twizzlestick, what happened to your buddy there? What's his name? Cy Ray. What happened to Cy Ray? I thought Cy Ray was gonna exonerate this kid because his location he could identify as being south of fucking. What happened to Cy Ray? Twiz. If Cy Ray has got that kind of information, why would Brian have like turned his back on that? Yeah, but you can't make money in prison from your crime. So you can write all the books he wants. Okay, I don't fucking know. Twizzlestick. I rode the bus. I rode a special bus. I thought actually I wore a helmet too. Good old Twizzlestick. What time bus did you ride? Yeah. Yeah. Cy Ray wrote that, and you got to wonder why he would write something like that if he didn't have evidence that he believed in or that he could confirm. Who the fuck? Nothing. I couldn't have predicted it. Something weird is going on. You could say that shit again, Twizzlestick. You know what I mean? I just want to say this, Twist, just in all fairness, okay, bud? It's regular for people as they get older to continue to point out that they fit in the same clothes they wore in high school. Just be aware. That's like an achievement for people. Okay, that they wear the same clothes today in their 30s, 40s that they wore in high school, right? But I don't think that applies to the helmet that you wore on that bus. That might be a little too tight, Twiz. You might want to check your head size and readjust that helmet. because it might be too tight. You can't even bait this guy onto the stream. They pulled it off. There were so many moving parts. Yeah, there were no IDs in the possession of Brian Koberger that belonged to the victims, folks. That was another one of the fake pieces of news. Something major must have happened. Well, yeah, the kid may have just given up on life and decided, I better admit to what I did and try to get myself to keep my fucking body alive. It's not uncommon for a plea deal to come this down the road. They said ID. It wasn't an ID that belonged to the victims. Just so you know, me, myself, and I. So whatever ID they found in his glove, it was not a victim's ID. I never thought there would be one either. I'm going to go with this all part of the process before the trial starts. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens, right? It's common. It's common to be offered. It could be offered the night before the trial. Prosecution, right, makes an offer and the defendant accepts it or not. I wonder if this is the reason why. No, Roy didn't leave YouTube. Roy's doing something else. I'm sure once the case is concluded, people can talk. There's an official notice of hearing. We're aware of that for tomorrow at 11 a.m. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if I'm possible, I may join. I'm not sure it's going to be possible, though. Not everyone in jail is guilty. I agree with that. We all know that. And our court system isn't about guilt or innocence. It's about winning or losing for the people that enforce the law. And that's the fucked up part. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors. So what I'm going to do is bid you all adieu. This section of Plea Deal Watch, Idaho 4, Brian Koberger, hashtag plea deal, does one exist? That answer will come to us tomorrow at 11 in the morning. And we'll try to reconvene at that time or sometime shortly thereafter. And we'll see what's up. What's up? And we'll go from there. We may find out tomorrow who the murderer of this is. The accused, Brian Christopher Koberger, may be on the cusp of agreeing. I don't know. I may be on again tonight. We'll see. Yeah, you don't plead guilty. Yeah, I agree. Who pleads guilty to a quadruple homicide? I mean, after spending 30 months in jail, what's another few months, right? So it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, folks, you guys be good or be bad. But if you're going to be bad, unlike Brian Koberger, try not to get caught.